Everyone, my name is Nunes, there with F1 2018 career mode here for the Singapore Grand Prix in Season 3 with Force Edition. You can actually see it's going to be rain right for the end of the race, so kind of like a 2017 kind of style there. You can see Renault makes a step ahead, so they're actually the second best car on the grid at the moment. We stay in 4th, we also bring a bit of an upgrade. You can see Red Bull, McLaren just plateauing right there. Mercedes also bring a bit of an upgrade out there, but they're falling behind really in performance. But I'm thinking we're just going to get into qualifying here on Saturday and see how we do.
Welcome along again to the Marina Bay circuit. The atmosphere is thick, not just with humidity, but with tension as well, as we get ready for qualifying here at the Singapore Grand Prix.
Alright, so getting into Q1, we're as always going to end out just to the end of the session. Just so we have 2 attempts. If we mess the first one up, we'll have a chance to go on to a second one. But the first attempt was kind of an okay good lap. You can see when they hire the soft tires, because it doesn't really matter what tire you're on in Q1, and we have enough tires to do that. So coming over the line, it is going to be a 1 minute 33.8. So actually not too fast, but it is just enough to get us through to Q2 in 13th place. So team it up in 4th place, so great performance from him. In Q2, we're going to be doing the exact same strategy. We're just going to be going on the hypersoft tires, because I don't think we got enough pace, so we were down in 13th place right before. So we are going to be going off for first attempt, right? It was an alright one, but it wasn't really good enough for my liking. So we went out on another attempt, because we warmed up on this one, but the other one was still fine enough to get through to Q3 right there. And you can see we're actually through just behind our teammate down in 8th place. He was up in 7th place, but you can see there another 5 cars are out, and now it's time to go in for the top 10 shootout, the Q3 thing. We're just gonna we're not going to be going out right at the end, but we're going up with kind of 3.5 minutes remaining, so we have a chance to redo the lap if we fail it. But here we are, Q3, seeing if we can get pole position. I don't think so, because the car space really haven't been too good through the first 2 qualifying seasons. Here we are coming over the line, and it is going to be 1 minute 32.9 right under there, and enough for provisional 6th place. But we are going to be going straight on to another attempt right here. This one is up by 3/10, and here we are running wide of the last corner and remove up the grid, and eventually it's going to be a 5th place here for Q2 and a 5th place on the starting grid tomorrow. We're going to be starting on the hypersoft tires, so I believe it's a 2-stop strategy from our side, sadly. It's not the end of the world. We are going to be surviving on the 2-stop. I actually think most people is going to be doing a 2-stop strategy in this race. It's going to be overcast just for the start of the race, but as we know, it's going to come. The rain is going to come falling down from the skies right at the end of the race. Insane rain, it says, kind of 3 drops right there. The track, you probably know, it's kind of an endurance race here. I'm just repeating Crofty's line, but it's quite an endurance race we have, because it's 31 laps around the circuit. Normally it breaks the 2-hour barrier. It's the longest race of the season, 50 minutes whenever we're doing 50% race distance right here. RICCIARDO is in the title leads at the moment, as you know, but it's actually Fernando Alonso who stuck it in on pole position, so maybe he might be able to catch us up. Actually, me, Fernando Alonso, and RICCIARDO are pretty much the only title rivals, title contenders at the moment. You can see there, both of our rivals actually starting on the front row of the grid. We're down in 5th place right now. I'm just going to kind of be speeding over this, because it's not too exciting. Alright, there you can kind of look through it if you want to look through it very, very fast. And as I said before and a couple of times today, it is going to be a 2-stop strategy right there, but we're going to see how long we can stretch the ultra soft tires. And we're going to know, but the rain is going to come, because of course that's a thing that we have coming on. But coming onto the grid, 31 laps around the Singapore street circuit, is 5 red lights, and we're underway. We get up to an okay getaway there, but the rain of Nico Hulkenberg gets off to a great getaway. We move over to cover up the inside of Stoffel right there, who goes with a huge dive onto the curb right there, into the first couple of corners, gets the Renault there. Terrible stuff for him actually right there, but you can see Max Verstappen up ahead of him. Now Van Dorn goes chasing after him. We kind of just have to defend from Nico Hulkenberg here, who goes down the inside of turn 3 or 4 or 5. We kind of come back for switchback maneuver, and under acceleration down the long back straight, we get him right there. A teammate may be trying to kind of get involved in that one as well, but of course it is a street circuit, so you have to be aware. Then there we almost do a beautiful switchback maneuver on Nico Hulkenberg, because of course he went for a dive, and we're trying to go for another switchback maneuver. I really like the switchback in this game. So first, nice and clean race start right off the bat. We actually didn't lose anything, we didn't gain anything, but now we have our teammate right behind us. But now we're going to go for a dive down the inside of Nico Hulkenberg. Alright, it's just going to kind of turn into the side of us, but now it's kind of time to settle into the race. Calm it a bit more down, not too much battling, but we are going to be battling with Nico Hulkenberg, because of course we want to keep position, but we just want to see if we can avoid battling so we can catch up to this guy, Stoffel Van Dorn, and the guys in front, so we can hopefully bring home podium. Lap number 3, we are going to be going for a dive down the inside, cut the shit out of that corner right there, and go for that one. Here we have an on-board with actually the Toro Rosso right there, who's driving up behind one of the hearts. I think it's Roman Grosjean. Alright there, that is now out of the race. So sadly for him, it's a retirement in this race. A couple of laps later, here we are. We're going to be dropping the card by the pits for the first pit stop of the day onto the ultra soft tires. But of course, there is still going to be another stop remaining, so it's kind of important for us to get a good and nice stop right off the bat right here. Coming into the pit, you can see there. Going into the pits, we actually have the Renault as well of, I think that's Carlos Sainz coming into the pits right behind us right here. Who is going to be doing pit stop as well as us. Coming out of the pits, we're going to be rejoining in clean air, which is nice and expected, of course. So we can get a couple of push laps in, a couple of fast laps in right now here, which is hopefully going to be very, very, very nice. But after a couple of laps, we'll catch up to the very, very slow Williams of Sergei Sorokin right there, getting past him nicely and cleanly right there at the moment. We also managed to catch up to one of the Toro Rossos, who's not a fast car as well. So we're getting held up by a couple of back markers at the moment, which I believe is not too good, but you know, we'll survive, because I think that the other guys also will get held up in queue. But ironically, that guy right there, the Toro Rosso of Brendan Hartley pitting into the pits. But here we have Max Verstappen coming out of the pits as we're going around the outside of the back marker of Lance Stroll right there. We rejoin right behind him instead of instead of a position behind him, of course. That Stoffel Van Dorn right there was in between us right there. We're actually the fastest man on track at the moment, but we're not really catching up to Max Verstappen, so he might be very, very close. We're catching up to these guys, Fernando Alonso and Daniel Ricciardo, of course, the race leaders, or the provisional race leaders there. I was getting held up in a massive train at the moment, so we're kind of all training behind each other. Me and Max Verstappen managing to catch up to these guys a couple of laps later right there. And we're going to go for a huge dive down the inside of the first corner right there and past the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. We go. Now it's time to go chasing after the man of Daniel Ricciardo. Of course, you saw we had the fastest lap right before. Right there, we're going to go for a dive down the inside of this corner right here. One of my favorite places to overtake, but also a very, very dangerous place to overtake, you can say that. But he's going to keep it around the outside. The man, the dive bomber, the Aussie man, they're going to keep it around the outside. Which is very, very lucky for him. We have a safety car out on track, just randomly right here. I don't know what it is for, but we have Max Verstappen right behind us, who's going to come into the pits for, I don't know, his second stop of the day. So I don't know if that's the clever strategy, because the rain is, of course, coming. Maybe it's not even going to come, because, of course, you know, this game is kind of a bit unpredictable right there. But it is going to be ending just half a lap later or something, so not a very, very long one right there. So now it's time to go chase after Daniel Ricciardo, the Aussie man, trying to see if we can overtake him, of course. Our championship rival leading over us with under a race win at the moment. Here we are, he's getting held up by Fernando Alonso. We managed to get side by side with him through turn 7, I think it is, trying to come back for a switchback maneuver, but eventually he out-accelerates us. Right there. Max Verstappen behind us has gotten out in some traffic right here, behind some back markers, so maybe not the best strategy for the Red Bull team. Right there, because he's gone out in some traffic, as I just said, so he's going to get held up. He's also going to want to come in for a pit stop in the rain. We're going to go for a dive on Daniel Ricciardo, the same place we did a couple of laps earlier, but this time around he's not going to keep it around the outside, he's just going to keep his nose in there. And that, I don't know if they're running lower drag, I think they are, so he's going to kind of get us on the next straight right there. But that's the second time we've gone for the move on Daniel Ricciardo in this race, so maybe we can kind of get him while there's DRS on the back straight. So here we are on the back straight actually. We're going to go for a dive down the inside of turn 7 on Daniel Ricciardo right here. Squeeze him inside to the curb, brake as late as possible, trail brake all the way through the corner, into the corner until you get onto the accelerator, so you can brake as late as possible and get that position on Daniel Ricciardo. Now it's time to see if we can go chase after Fernando Alonso, but he's actually going out in the lead in front of us. He's pulling out a gap right in front of us, this guy. And you can actually see here how slowly we're going. The grip was just losing. You can't really see that there's rain in the air at the moment, but I could feel you could feel that the grip wasn't there at all. So on lap number 17, we're going to come into the pits for intermediate tires, as well as Dan Ricciardo right behind us. So it's going to kind of be a pit stop battle right for us right there. So that is Max Verstappen's pit stop strategy fail right there, but we have a pit stop battle with Daniel Ricciardo, and we get out in front of him, which was the important part. But can we now keep him behind in the rain? Of course, as I said, I'm not the best driver in the rain, but I mean, I can cope with it. It's not too bad. Some tracks are better, worse than others. Singapore's one of the worst ones because fuck the street circuit and rain. So we get out in front of Dan Ricciardo. I think it's done with the thing with the race win. I think Alonso's just pulled out too much of a gap out in front. But now we just need to concentrate about defending the position from behind of Daniel Ricciardo. We don't need to win every single race, and it would also be nice if Fernando Alonso could get a bit closer in the championship, so it would be close. Here we are. With the Toro Rosso of Brendan Hartley right there, and you can see right there he's trying to get overtaken by teammate, and he just goes straight into the wall right there, showing how no grip there is, and he's lost his front wing. Just an onboard from him. I don't know what happened, if he just got on his brakes and they just didn't work, or if he didn't even get on his brakes right there. But it's unusual mistakes from the AI. I don't feel like the AI makes a lot of mistakes like that. Lap number 19. We're going to be defending from Dan Ricciardo, as I just said. Run right onto the curb right there, because why the actual Jesus not right here. 11 laps remaining of the race. We need kind of a mid-race update right here. Here we have the standing. Sergio Perez teammate down in 7th place. Carlos Sainz right in front of him in 6th place. You can see Max Verstappen is falling way down the grid right there, down to 14th place because, of course, his strategy mishap right there. But it's the podium. It's actually me, Alonso, and Ricciardo at the moment. So, funnily enough, the 3 title contenders on the podium, not in the correct, actually in complete opposite kind of. Because, of course, Ricciardo's leading the championship. We're right behind him. Now we have a team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. So Daniel Ricciardo's saying that he has no chance. Maybe it's about catching up to us, or maybe it's about just going fast in the conditions, because we're increasing our gap, which is a surprise because, of course, I'm not too good in the rainy conditions, but we're still pulling out a gap on him. So either the car's slow or either he's not driving fast enough at the moment. But here we are, only a couple of laps remaining, and he's kind of he's staying consistently behind us. He's actually going to go for a move down the inside right there. We come back for a nice switchback maneuver. There's only 3 or 4 laps remaining, so it's really time to push now for every single 10th that you get. But they're going into the pit. Fernando Alonso's into the pit, but he has too much of a gap for that to be any sort of a big thing. Fernando Alonso, I think it was 20 seconds in front of us whenever pitted, so that is not a big thing at all. But Ricciardo's into the pits as well. So that means that we have gotten that 2nd place for sure now, because Ricciardo's going into the pits for, I don't know if that's wets or another set of inters right there. It looks like another set of inters, but I don't know what these guys were thinking, because they're going into another pit stop right there, which will end up losing them up. But here we are on board with Fernando Alonso, who is getting held up by a back marker. He might get a bit angry about that thing right there, not getting the blue flags that he needed. He will get past it eventually, but he's getting held up. He's not too far in front of us, because as we said, he pitted in, but eventually we didn't get into the pit. You can see here he got past him. So we're still too far behind. I think we're 5 seconds or something behind Fernando Alonso the moment. But just last lap of the race, so there's no chance we're going to catch him right now. Fernando Alonso is the race winner of the Singapore Grand Prix. Finally, he picks us up a victory. We come home to claim a 2nd place.
Giornata fantastica. Giornata fantastica.
So you can see they're happy Fernando Alonso, and we're happy for 2nd place as well. Going to pick up 18 points in the driver standings, with Ricciardo right behind us, only picking up the 15. But it's a race victory for McLaren and for Fernando Alonso.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for McLaren today. So, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and have the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into 1st place here today.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful Grand Prix, here come the top 3 out onto the podium.
So there you have it, guys. That is everything for the Singapore Grand Prix. Actually, randomly enough, it's the 3 title contenders on the podium in the order 3, 2, and number 1. So that's kind of a random thing right there. Danish, Spain, and an Australian mate right there. But McLaren, congratulations to them. Kind of the car that we left him after we leave the team, of course, in season 1 and 2. We developed a great team. Right through the seasons right there. Second place for us, you can see that our teammate finishing quite a long way down the grid. Not too good of a race for him in comparison to thinking about where he started there down in 9th place. So picking up 2 points for him, Agent, but that only means 20 points in the constructors standings after 1-2 that we did last time around in Italy, around Monza. Then we come to kind of this extremely high downforce circuit, and then our cars just not as competitive as it was before, but you know, that kind of means that we know that our car is good at the points of engine development and stuff like that. So maybe we'll need to kind of do more of the aero and chassis side of thing. Actually, chassis is actually our best development point, so maybe we'll need to do an even better thing. And maybe that was just the worst point before we came, but maybe we'll need to kind of develop that one throughout the rest, throughout the next couple of races also. But here we are going to the end of the race. We're just gonna be developing some more chassis development. Just talked about it right there. Gonna be developing a major one because we have the R&D points to be able to do this. So now we have quite a lot of things in development. It's 2 for Japan only, so there's not going to be anything for next episode. Only 2 episodes whenever we get to one of the most high downforce circuits on the calendar, the Suzuka circuit. But other than that, I think I'll see you all in Russia in the next episode. Remember to like and subscribe and all that shit, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.